Okay, so here we are at our VoiceFlow interface. I'm going to click the chat bubble to get started. And what we are landing on here is an assistant that can provide tailored insurance information that can help us with the next steps in getting a specific insurance. So what I've done here is I've picked out just a random service local to New Zealand, and what we're going to do is we're going to identify this person as a potential lead. We're going to research them, and then we're going to call them within seconds of them opting in and giving us their contact details. So as you can see, this first message here is saying, how can I assist you? Are you looking for general information about our company or just specific advice? So I'll just say, I need advice about damage insurance. And now you can see that the AI is looking to gather tailored information in order to help us properly. So it's looking for our specific concerns and also the industry that we're in. So I can say, I am an electrician concerned about broken equipment. And now it said, okay, I understand the specific concern. Let me gather some potential valuable data for you. And it said, hold on a second, and said, okay, awesome. Just before I help you, what is your full name? And I'm just going to input the owner of this example company that we're doing. Now it is asking for my phone number. And lastly, it's asking us for a URL, which we can just copy and paste from over here. So now after we've done this, the AI is going to say, okay, here's what we actually think we can help you based on what you've given us. And it's given us a very simple, very straightforward things that we can go about. And if we understand this, then we can click I understand my options. But if we want something for it to clarify on, we can click this something I don't get, which is what I'll click right now. And I can actually say, for example, what is equipment breakdown? And it is able to actually explain everything in simple terms, why it is relevant to us as an electrician, and it even gives us an example. So it double checks once we've actually understood this. I can say, yes, I understand, because it is personalized into our use case. We are now sending a separate request to research this person, and the final message that we get over here is, all right, we will contact you more about this shortly. And as you can see, we are now getting a call. Hello?
Hey, is this Adrian? It's Belle here. Just
Yep.
thought you had a chat to our chatbot about equipment breakdown cover for your electrical tools. By the way, I checked out Tyndall's Electrical and noticed how you're handling both residential and commercial jobs around Auckland. Did you have any more questions about protecting those tools from sudden breakdowns?
No, I kind of understood everything from the chatbot. It was very helpful.
Awesome. Glad to hear the chatbot was helpful. Have you tried looking for any of these covers before?
Yeah, so I've looked for damage cover before and I didn't think it was that important, but now since, an occurrence like has happened, I have lost a bit of money. I now realize that it's important and that I need to get it.
Oh man, yeah, that totally makes sense. It's always one of those things you don't really think about until something actually happens,
Yeah,
right? Could
yeah.
you tell me what specific challenges you ran into when you were looking for damage cover before? Like, was it confusing, too expensive, or just hard to find the right info?
It was just hard to find the right info.
Yeah, I get that insurance stuff can be super confusing, and there's just so much info out there. It's hard to know what actually matters for your business. Here's what we can do for you, Adrian. We can arrange a sit down with one of our advisors so they can explain your options clearly, without all that info overload and confusion you had before. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect. I've just sent you an appointment link to do that. Book whatever.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Thank you. Bye. You can see right here that we've received an appointment link to book that off the back of that last call. And if we go back into our CRM, in this case Google Sheet, we can actually see the exact details, the whole conversation with the AI chatbot, and then we have information about the service, information about the lead, the particular cover that we're going to look at for this lead, and we even have the statuses of picked up, the status of the link being sent, which is true, as you just saw, and even a summary with that phone call explaining what actually was discussed in that conversation. So what you've just seen is a completely transformed sales pipeline that I automated for my client. And today I'll show you the entire value that I packed behind this in terms of the build itself, but not only that, just also like what it meant for my client and the benefits behind it once we actually made this live. And so that is actually what I'll touch on first, and then at the end of the video, you can access the entire templated version of this absolutely for free. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kai. I've been helping business owners scale operations using AI for about 9 months now. So if you're a business owner and you'd like to at least understand how or even if these solutions could work within your business, then you can contact me using the booking link in the description. I've been more than happy to help out in any way that I can. Now onto the video. All right, just to quickly explain what is actually happening within the whole system. Otherwise, you're not going to understand anything that I say. What it is an opt-in voice flow agent that obviously is displayed on the website. Once they have opted in and the website chatbot has displayed some sort of value, we are sending it to an N8N system, and this will capture the lead, research about them, and then really analyze that conversation with the chatbot, which will almost always display their exact pains. And what we do is we, chuck it into the CRM, and then we contact them directly using a retail AI voice agent. So that's when we actually call them, and then based on the analysis of the actual conversation, we can update everything to the CRM as you've seen over there in the demo spreadsheet. So let me walk through a bit about what actually happened. How was this a transformation in the first place? Well, to start off, this was the problem, right, that I want to touch on. This insurance brokerage, was really delayed on their calls after the opt-ins in the first place. So they really took their time, and this increased kind of the friction between the lead becoming, staying as a prospect and becoming a client. And when I say delayed call, they probably called them within like 40 to 48 hours of their opt-in, whether it be, from reaching out to them in expos or getting them into the website and calling in. They took ages to actually call them up, and yeah, it was about 40 hours that they had. When they actually did reach out to them, it was a unstructured and no SOP sort of approach, so there wasn't a consistency to it, so they couldn't really track results, and therefore they really lacked in terms of a reliable sales process that they knew could work consistently, right? So we had to really look into the depths of that, and as a result, it was difficult to win leads, because insurance is one of these businesses that people don't usually go with the best one. They just go with the one they can actually get a hold of first. And so when they opt in and then they have 40 hours of delay, they can use that 40 hours of time to literally just go to someone else that can actually reach out to them instead, and they can get a hold of, because the information is always too much for these prospects. And what really helps is getting a hold of someone like else. Otherwise, you're going to have this result here, because it is difficult to win leads. So this is what we came and did for them after we implemented this whole system. So before 40 to 48 hour delay, and we turned this into about 40 seconds. So we tracked it, and it was about 40 seconds for them to be opted in, researched, then called back, which is 1,600 times faster. That is really bad writing there, but it says 1,600 times faster than the process was before. So it really is a huge, massive touch point there. From that, we obviously prompted the AI in a way that it would be personalized and also have an SOP version of it, because it would have a script that would simply be personalized to the person that it is calling about. But nevertheless, we'd always be touching on the same sort of pain points in the same sort of way, and this will make sure that we are getting that consistency aspect of things and not just relying on whatever works and shooting until we hit something. So that's a massive step. And then also what the agent was capable of doing is taking these next steps on call with them. So as you saw in the demo, it sent the appointment link, which was able to opt in leads and push them further down the pipeline on the actual call itself. So instead of being difficult to win leads, saying, okay, I'm going to call you back, or I'm going to send this to you later, it will literally on the call send them the appointment link and say, okay, we'll schedule the appointment for the best time for you, which for a prospect is dream days. They always want to see what's available to them as opposed to how the availability of others, right? Well, that's a pretty obvious case there. And so the agent was able to do this on call. And overall, by taking in all of these aspects here that we implemented into the agent, that is 3 pillars that we always implement into our outreach agents, we are increasing the likelihood that any prospect can convert by 391%. That's what we're doing. And so it's not about, okay, how many can I actually get into the website in terms of my marketing and just boost all of these other metrics that bring people in, but we are optimizing for those that do come in. They are more likely to actually become your customer. So now that we understand this side of things, how we actually helped them in the first place, This is the first sort of part of the workflow. So touching on the voice flow side of things, this is a templated version of what I built for him. So I'll just rattle through it and give you like the 80-20 of it. So we have the intent classifier agent, which is, you know, a very, very simple prompt, but we give it the paths for it to trigger in terms of the, you know, whether it is a general chat that the agent actually, that the person actually comes into the website looking for, you know, just general information about the business. But if it is a getting advice inquiry, so the person is there for actually value, then it can trigger this path over here. So this get advice, and you know, this is the prompt here, very simple. You can pause the video to see that. And then we just attach these two to it, and we go into the specific consultant here, which is where the source comes in. And here we have the role saying that it is, well, One Insurance in this case is obviously the example, but it is specializing in identifying and addressing unique risks and concerns within various industries. It is engaging with users by asking them targeted questions to understand the specific industry and then make concerns in a better way. Once it is identified, it is going to pull in the tailored advice from the knowledge base that we integrated into VoiceFlow. And then the goal of that is to guide the conversation towards understanding the pain points, as I said, and then helping the lead into that insurance as a solution, like understand that it is, you know, a valuable solution. So the sales part of things starts just from providing value in this front end website chatbot. Once we've done that, we've got a specifics tab here to, you know, give it that SOP. So this is where it comes from. You can pause the video to check out those steps as well. The one tool that it has, well, the knowledge base that it has is to gather that specific data. So we put in a knowledge base for that specific consultant as well. And then just an example here of the conversation that is to take place. Again, very simple. And then the notes to either reiterate what we've already set up here or just some things that we wanted to avoid in the conversation. So you can pause the video, check out that prompt. Again, it'll be available to you for free once you download everything. But pretty much the next step from here is saying, okay, I've gathered the information for you just before I provide you with it. So this is actually a pretty good point that I should include here. We have these exit conditions here on the right tab here, and it is either going to be other. So if the person just randomly decides, okay, I need general information, we're going to trigger that path. So it goes back to the, you know, intent classifier, and then the intent classifier will push it towards the general business query. So that's just there as a backstop, you know, just for any like one-off instances. And then the customer info is like ideally what we want them to push further down the pipeline with. We're going to trigger this path when the user has told them, so the agent, the industry they have in the specific situations, because we don't want them to provide the information that the agent has from the knowledge base to help them straight away. We want to, you know, get the contact details first and then say, okay, before I actually help you out with this step by step, I got to have access to your contact details or something. So that's the lead magnets type of things. And we are covering these two variables within this tool call. So the first one is the actual cover. So we have this as a type of cover. So we have this as a type of cover that the user needs. So example, damage cover for your restaurant, because we're going to use that in a sentence. I'll explain what that means later. And then the solutions is, you know, the list of the tailored cover options that they have based on the knowledge base. So we're going to capture that information and then send it to the variables for the next steps in the process, as opposed to providing them with the value straight away in the conversation, and then they can just walk away and we don't have their contact details or opt in. Cool. So once we do that, we have to prompt the agent quite well. That's just a touch point. Otherwise, the agent can just provide the value straight away in the conversation. But either way, it's going to trigger that this path here when it knows to do so. And then we say, you know, awesome, just need some basic information before I help you out with cover. So that is one of the variables that we reference up here. And that will just equal, you know, before I help you out with your the damage cover for your gym or the equipment, you know, insurance for this or that. And so we send that first message, which becomes this, you know, sentence over there with that variable. And then we have the follow-up message, like, what is your name? We capture the name and we capture their phone number. And then the last one is the website URL. This is important because we're going to research this person. And if we got their email or something like that, it would be harder for the Perplexity model and the end-to-end system to show that. And so we ask for the URL instead, which we capture. And then we say, okay, so for your situation, this is what we think would help. And we reference the solutions variable, which again comes from the specific consultant. So this would be like, okay, so this is what we think would help. And then a list of, you know, very detailed solutions of the list that we think would help. And then after that, we say, is there anything that you don't understand? If there's something that they don't get, this is the button that we present over here. So if they click, there's something I don't get, then we go to this explainer agent, which is a backstop for anything that they're like not sure about or want to understand more. So we make sure that we really target that value. So prospects understand how insurance can help them when we do call them up, and that's important for us just as much as it's important for them. So we have this agent there. I'll show you the prompt real quick. Just it pulls in information from the knowledge base as you can see over here. The same one from the other agent. And the good thing about these agents is that they're all interconnected. So the memory that we get from one can be referenced and identified from the other agent as the step moves forward. So we can reference these different stages of the process and not lose any context at all, which is great. Once they understand it over here, or if they understand it straight away, we make a post request to the end system, which is this one here. If it's a success, then we send them a message saying we will contact you directly to talk more about it shortly. And that's obviously the system over here. So again, I'm going to rattle through this because there's a lot to cover and I don't want to confuse you. So we have this webhook over here. The first thing we do is getting the company name. So this is just a OpenAI step using the 4.1 mini model to extract the information from the webhook. So we are, the website URL that they bring in, we are just turning that into a company name to see from the website, obviously. Once we do that, we have a set step to, just makes it easier to map everything later, map these using that edit field step there. And then two things happen. So first we have an update here, and we have this LLM step to get the pain points of the conversation from the voice flow and the prospect. So we just tell it to say, pull out the key pain points, and then we are going to update the CRM, so the Google Sheets in this case, with all that information. And then you can see we have this first update here. So this is what I titled up there. And this is where we dump all the data before the actual call, because this is the route that it goes to first after that set step. So we are putting in, the conversation itself, the pain points analysis, the user, their name and the company name, and then their phone number and website URL. That is the first update. Once it's done with all of that, then we go to research them, and we do that using Google search online. We are looking for them on LinkedIn straight away with this, base root over here, and then their name appended to it, and then the company. So this will definitely come up with the Google results or Google search engine results of their specific LinkedIn online. We can then clean that up over here using this code step, and then from this we look at the organic results, and because obviously we have to have some sort of level of accuracy over here. So this is why this node is here for. We say for these organic results, explicitly select only one LinkedIn that is most relevant for all the options of other LinkedIn searches that we have. We can nail it down to the person name and then the company that they run. But then we have to, have a consistency step where the AI is precisely choosing the right one based on the results that we get. And obviously, if we don't find anyone relevant based on our search step, we go down this route over here. So if the output of that LLM equals not found, then we go through this route over here, and then we research the company instead using Perplexity. But if we do go through it, we get that LinkedIn and we scrape it using Apify, because in this way we have, the specific information from the LinkedIn page, and then we research the company. So that's the only difference between these two branches over here. But anyway, after we research, then we do that second update to, dump in all the information from our research. So the first one is from the voice flow bot. The second one is from the research step. So we are finding them and doing that updating step again. And then from here, this is actually a really important step, right? What we're doing over here, we've got quite a long prompt over here, is from all this information that we've amounted, we are creating the personalized lines that will be said during the interaction between the voice agent and the lead itself. So we are, prompting it with a role saying you are world-class personalized line script maker with a particular knack for generating an engaging and personalized line for voice agent based on the context below. And, we give it the whole entire context, what to look out for, how to speak. The main, section over here is a specific stable. We say to use Spartan, simple language to keep things casual. Your line must be fit into the sentence. So we're just saying make sure that it fits into that. Obviously, you say that you've noticed that they've had a chat with a chatbot. So again, even more context. And then we are showing them that we are looking out for them, make it specific to the chat. You never assume or make up information. You will only use information available in the information from the leads section, okay? And then we back everything up with examples of what we want to see. And then we just dump the actual information saying, okay, this is the lead name, this is the pain points, the summaries, and then the company name plus the company summary, okay? And again, notes to back up everything we said or things to avoid. Once we get that personalized line, we then trigger the call, the Retail AI call, and this is where we put in all the dynamic variables. So obviously this is again masked with stuff from us, the things that we copied into our templated version. And the dynamic variables here, you can see first name, the cover. So the cover that we are using way back in the voice flow is what we actually use in the conversation, which is, pretty powerful, thinking, in terms of the context and maintaining that touch point with the client. And then we have the company that they're from, and then also the phone number, okay? So once we call them, we do a check call. So we are waiting to see if the call has been finalized or if they've picked up in the first place, because we are doing things, to analyze or take next steps accordingly, depending on whether or not they pick up. If we see that they don't actually pick up, so if the status equals ended, we can then check if the call has been landed in voicemail. So obviously, if the call is still going, we're going to wait 30 seconds, which is the time over here. But if it has ended, so it's been fully analyzed by retail, and the value of this field here is in voicemail, then we need to trigger this follow-up message here saying, I put in a little thing there. So, hey, name, and then we update the CRM saying this person did not pick up. And then the message here is saying, hey, so here it is over here. So we are using SMS Global for this, which is a New Zealand thing that I use for texting. We use a different one for this client, but the same still applies. We're saying, hey, first name, I'm from One Insurance. I just called to chat about and that we are referencing the cover. So that's why we have that variable there as well. And call us back on, and then we give that phone number there when you're free. So the reason it's not we give them the phone number is because in New Zealand, you can't actually text through a designated phone number. So we say, give us a call back on this number, and then we will get back to you. And I'll show you the system that takes everything inbound. I can't demo everything in front of you, otherwise this video would be 40 minutes long plus. But that's what happens if they don't pick up. If they do pick up, then we are getting that summary and putting that in there. We are searching for their phone number after the call, and then we are analyzing if the appointment link was sent, and if there was a call summary, okay? So out of this whole process here, we've probably just knocked this and this. There are, kind of backstop things that, branch off to make sure that we actually contact the lead. The first one was the text follow-up that we send them. The other one is if they actually call back, then we land on this system here. So this system here is used for many different things. One of the main ones is picking up an inbound call for someone that has missed a call from us and is calling us back. So this inbound agent is the exact same as the follow-up agent, the original one that is going to call them. Not the exact same, we give them some context saying this is an actual inbound call instead. But what we can show here, whenever we receive a call, we are triggering this webhook over here. And we can identify that using the switch. So there's obviously many different things that are going on over here. If we identify that it is a inbound call to pick up, then we clean up that phone number, because in Google Sheets, you have to have stringified versions of things. Anyway, we clean up the phone number with this code step. You can ignore it. And then we check for that lead information, because by the time we have the response webhook to Retail AI, we know exactly this information here. So we know exactly the first name, the phone of the person calling, the cover, the summary, and all of that stuff, because we are fetching it from their phone number. So we are searching for their phone number within the system, and we output all the data. Okay, we say, okay, we've got this lead in the system. Let's update the CRM saying they've called back, and then let's connect them to the agent. That's pretty much what these do, and we can at the same time, put in all that information that we've acquired from the research from the chatbot into this conversation inbound as well. So again, you can pause the video. Let me show you that agent again. You can pause the video to go through this. You will have access to it in the description, but it's too long to go through right now. This is the outbound one, which again follows the same sort of structure saying, you know, you have to contact them using this dynamic script that we've made from this. And I guess this is the best thing that I can show you out of the voice agents that we've got going on, okay? But now in the next step, and this is connected to that retail inbound workflow, we have a function step. So over here, I reference the tools as well. Not only does it have a knowledge base to answer any questions, but it also has a send link function that will trigger this, again, this system over here, which is to send the actual link of the appointment. So when the user is interested and we have seen that they, you know, would like an appointment, then we can reference that webhook over here. We can tell the agent to trigger the webhook using the phone number that we have given them. So then we acquire, you know, we hit this webhook, goes to this SMS tool call section over here. We are using SMS Global again. Have a whole bunch of parameters for authorization, but anyway, this is the content of the actual text. So the text parameter is this appointment link, and then we say thanks for the chat, which is what you saw in the demo. And we know who to send it to because the parameter of 2 is the value of the phone number that we get from the webhook from Retail AI. So this is how the agent is actually able to do this thing here. So the next steps sort of aspect to it, that is how we do that. So both voice agents have that in their as their components. Once we go through there, we clean up the number again. We update the CRM saying we have sent that appointment link, and then tell the agent that the tool call was successful. So we have this message here saying the link was sent successfully. Once we have updated all of these and there was no errors, you know, in the sending of the SMS or updating the Google Sheet or anything, okay? So once we send that to the agent, the only other thing that we can do in this workflow is analyze the call, but from the perspective of the inbound call, because we analyze the outbound call over here in the workflow once we do the check call function, but obviously we can't do the same once someone calls us up, okay? So we attach the analysis call to the agent as this workflow again. In the search function, you can see that we are checking to see if the event of the webhook is equal to call analyze, because that is the webhook that Retail hits once you connect a server, is what they call it, to analyze the event, and you can do anything with that data. So we reference, again, this workflow over here, and once we analyze it, we do the exact same thing, but we are just dumping the summary of the call, which is a component of the whole payload that we get, and we are just giving this CRM the summary, okay? And everything, all of this, we reference the exact same person because we are referencing that phone number that we attached in the Google Sheets, okay? So that's how we are able to hit the exact same person, because we use that as the identifier. So that is it for the video today. If you want me to actually have a deep dive into this whole system and show you the whole technical aspect of it, then you can feel free to comment down below and I will be happy to do that for you. I just didn't want to make this, you know, 45-minute video where you get everything and nothing at the same time. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video and that you found it valuable. So, you know, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.